I was 18 years old. My exams were finally over and I decided to celebrate at the country house. Barbecue, sauna, and yes, I was even allowed some beer. The mood was great. However, the stress of studying and the constant tension did not leave us that day. We were joined by my aunt, my mom's sister, a 27-year-old woman with long blonde hair, a slim figure, and a cute face. All in all, she was very pretty. She and my mom rarely saw each other because my aunt lived far away and was often away on business trips. This day was special because it had been so long since we had all gotten together. The air was filled with laughter and the warm aroma of fried food, creating an unforgettable atmosphere. In the evening, when everyone was relaxing after the sauna, my aunt started complaining about her boyfriend, who was supposed to come but canceled again, probably drinking beer with his friends. This led to a long monologue about how bad he was, which she accompanied with wine. As the evening went on, her words became more and more emotional, and she returned to the same questions over and over again. Her voice fluctuated between anger and sadness, creating a mixture of emotions that filled the room. I got tired of listening and decided to go up to the second floor to lie down with my phone and a beer to relax and gather my thoughts. The second floor had always been a refuge for me, a place to hide and be alone. There was muffled laughter and conversation coming from downstairs, a reminder of the lively gatherings I'd left behind for a while. I listened to music on my headphones and relaxed. I decided to go to bed, but suddenly my aunt came up to the second floor, drunk and barely on her feet. She was trying to find a place to sleep in the dark. On the second floor, we had a couch that I was lying on and a bed. She slipped and fell to the floor with a loud thud, hitting her head on the nightstand. I felt I had to get up and help her. When I came over, she was sitting on the floor holding her head and crying. I asked, "Aunt Linda, are you all right?" She cried and replied, "No, everything is not okay. Brian didn't show up, I got drunk, and now I'm hurt." Her vulnerability took me by surprise. She looked nothing like she usually did, and I felt an overwhelming urge to comfort her. Still concerned, I decided to fetch a basin in case the situation worsened. I quickly ran downstairs and returned to see that she had already climbed onto the bed and was snoring lightly, clearly falling asleep. I gently touched her shoulder. "Aunt Linda, let's straighten the bed so you can sleep more comfortably." She mumbled something unintelligible, and I gently lowered her to the floor to tidy up the bed. After making sure the basin was nearby, I covered her with a blanket and lay down on the couch since my bed was occupied. But my thoughts kept me busy. The silence in the room seemed to amplify all the thoughts in my head. I stared up at the ceiling, feeling a strange mixture of anxiety and curiosity. Lying there, I wondered why I wasn't lying next to her. The curiosity of being close to a woman overwhelmed my mind, making my heart race. The fear of the unknown and the excitement of the situation caused a whirlwind of emotions. Finally, I climbed onto the bed, feeling a mixture of heat and dizziness. Her lips were soft, and the moment was so intimate it was unforgettable. The quiet intimacy of the moment felt like a secret that would never leave the room. Time seemed to stop, leaving only the two of us in that fragile, fleeting moment. The morning brought with it a wave of fear and shame. I didn't know how to behave. Fortunately, Aunt Linda was still asleep when I went downstairs, where the others were already awake and eating breakfast. Everything seemed normal until Aunt Linda showed up in her bathrobe, her face swollen with a hangover. At this point I thought she was going to broach the subject of what happened last night, but instead she smiled and said, "Nate really took care of me last night. He brought me a basin and made sure I was comfortable in bed. What a treasure." She even kissed my forehead, which made my heart race again. I felt relieved and confused as the moment passed without incident. Her casual demeanor was in stark contrast to the whirlwind of emotions I experienced, leaving me both relieved and disoriented. Years later, I reflected on that summer. By then, life had run its course. I had married my college sweetheart, Alice, and started a family. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was filled with love and mutual care. As time went on, passion became less frequent, and Alice and I focused on our 3 children and daily responsibilities. During the pandemic, our spacious apartment seemed even emptier when my husband worked long hours and the boys and I stayed home, following quarantine rules. The monotony and isolation brought frustration, but it also strengthened new bonds in our family. I learned to appreciate the small victories of each day. The daily routine, though repetitive, began to feel like an anchor in a chaotic world. Life's challenges continued, but I found comfort in my role as a mother and in the small joys of everyday moments. Watching my children grow and adapt through these times gave me strength. I marveled at their resilience and ability to find joy in the simplest of activities. Looking back, I realized that life's journey, with its twists and turns, has brought lessons and growth that have shaped me today. Each moment, even those filled with uncertainty, became part of a larger story, a story of resilience, love, and finding beauty in imperfection. Each challenge, each quiet triumph was woven into the fabric of my life, creating a tapestry rich with experience and meaning. Even now, I think back to those times, finding new insights into memories I thought I had long ago realized. Life, after all, is a series of interconnected stories, each one building on the previous one, and through it all, I realized that even in moments of doubt or fear, there is always a way forward, a new chapter waiting to be written.